Welcome to the first Barn Find Hunter dedicated to motorcycles. You've probably noticed that we don't like to take leads from people about where old cars are. I kind of like to do it the old-fashioned way and just find them, because to me it's not the discovery, but it's the search that's the most fun. But when Steve Davis calls me, I pay attention. We visited Steve years ago. This is one of his yards. And then up there is a chicken coop that's 600 feet long. And you may remember that the last time we were here, in that chicken coop, we found hundreds of cars and thousands of motorcycles. We got such a reaction from viewers about, motorcycles, that we decided to make today's episode about motorcycles. This is a first for Barn Find Hunter. Motorcycles are really cool, and as somebody told me once, you can store one car in a garage, or you can store 10 motorcycles in that same garage. So let's go inside, meet Steve Davis again, and take a look at what he's got around here, and then we're going to take a ride a little bit later to see what else he knows about. By the way, we haven't filmed an episode in a year. It's been a year since we visited the UK, then the pandemic hit. So this is our first episode that we've filmed since the pandemic hit. We are socially distant, and we're going to wear masks when we're around other people. So I hope this doesn't muffle my voice too much. Hello, Steve Davis.
Hello, Tom.
Steve, we haven't been in your building here for probably 3 years, 4 years. But the most dramatic episode I remember is in that building, hundreds of cars and thousands of motorcycles. We've decided to make this episode a motorcycle episode. So would you show us some of the bikes that you've kind of found and why they're significant? Because they're all over the place, I know.
Well, I started this when I was 9 years old, Tom. And I borrowed $3 from my dad, fixed up an old little mini bike, that fixed it up, sold it for $25, saved $100 and bought three Honda 90s. One of them was like this one right here. So that's how this started when I was a kid, and I just never threw anything away. This is a 1959 Honda 50. This is the 65 model from 1965. This is the 64 Honda CT90. They had a little extra piece of chain that came in the toolkit and had two sprockets on the rear wheel where you could run it in trail or street. This one's got 855 original miles on it.
So is that a dream?
That's a dream, but that's the
earliest.
earliest
You could get a dream
dream.
in a purple. I didn't know that.
Well, I think that one was repainted, but whoever did it real good. Unique motorcycle. Beside it is a 1928 Ariel that I bought in a little town in Australia called Edinburgh. It's got exposed valves that you actually oil it down with an oil can. You see the oil can here?
And I can see the valves.
Yeah, and you actually oil the valves.
And so the oil can sat in the top of the fuel tank.
Well,
so every once in a while you had to squirt it down on the valve.
When it get to clacking, you'd have to squirt it down. Motor on it runs good though. Right here's a first year Norton Atlas. Behind it is another Triumph 650. I've got over 200 Triumphs. 200
Triumph motorcycles.
Yeah.
Now check out these old helmets over here, old metal flake
helmets.
Yeah, those are the things you'd buy in the back of magazines for like $9.95 back in the day. There's a couple of sayings here. I don't sell, I collect. And then can you take the back of your t-shirt? Hoarding is rewarding. I just finished a Barn Find book. It'll be out later in the year. And a friend of mine told me a quote that I had to include in there. And it was, the difference between hoarding and collecting is the illusion of organization.
I love that.
Perfect?
Oh, that's perfect. I love collections. This right here, but it's the 500cc MX from 1974. This is the 175 right behind it. That's the 250 right over there.
Oh, yeah.
I've got the 100cc, the 125, the 175, each one in that series.
So this is factory paint,
factory paint, factory everything, the side covers, the fenders, everything.
So who buys a bike like this and lets it sit for half a century before they give it to you?
So many people, a lot of them, they raced them one time and got scared. You know, this thing would break your leg cranking it. I mean, it was not, and when you give it gas, it was on the rear wheel, and you better be leaning forward and headed in that direction.
Man.
And it's just like
And
it
that's
was the
original
day it was
paint,
original paint, original everything
So you
on
don't
it.
have any restored bikes. They're all original.
I love them as they are.
Man, look at that baby.
Yeah, that belongs to a friend of mine. Now that's a second generation 750, and it's they went to the double overhead cam on that.
17,000 miles. What year is that?
This one's a 79.
And this is motorcycle country. There's no mistake that the Wheels Through Time Museum is just a couple of miles up the road, and people from around the country and around the world come here to ride motorcycles.
Right here is a 1967, first year of the Suzuki Titan, the 500cc, and that thing is still runs, you know. A friend of mine brought it to me from Virginia. He said, I knew you'd love it.
Yeah, we're just walking by an MGTD and not even
53.
paying attention to it, you know.
Well, look behind you, 51 Bentley
Oh,
with 18,000 original miles on it.
but this is not a Bentley episode. It's a motorcycle.
Come on back here and I'll show you some more stuff. Have you ever been in this building, Tom?
I've been in all your buildings.
No, you ain't been in all my buildings, but you've been in those down here.
Okay, I think, didn't you have 8 buildings or 10 buildings?
12.
Oh.
Look at all the cylinders from the 70s. If it was Japanese in the early 70s, there's a cylinder there or a head there for it. These are all new old stock, brand new exhaust pipes from the early 70s. And that's another really, really cool one. That's the holy grail of the motocross. The 250 Elsinore first year. This is the very first Wankel one though. The Hercules Wankel, it actually says Wankel on the seat. Isn't that it looks like a jet turbine.
So that was made in Japan?
No, they were made in Austria.
Really?
Yeah, they were Wankels. I mean, it was the first Wankel.
Alfred Wankel, German inventor of the rotary powered engine.
That's it. Well, there's your first motorcycle one that was ever done. It's right behind you. There's a OSA, 250 OSA. You had OSA, Montesa, and Bull Taco were your main things out of Spain, and they were.
And they're all out of Spain, really?
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that cool? Look how big the rear sprocket is on it. Man. Isn't that wild?
Man.
Yeah, and they had, see, the gas tank and all of this was made, the seat pan and everything was made together, all fiberglass. And there's another Honda Dream, a Honda Super Hawk. Right here is the Suzuki X6 Hustler. I love these things. They had such a beautiful, the way the speedometer and tach was on there. Look at this, Tom. The odometer is vertical. You don't see that. I don't know of another bike that had that.
12,000 miles. So this bike is new. Two-tone paint with a pinstripe.
And it had something really cool.
And that's a CZ from Czechoslovakia as well.
Czechoslovakia, and it had one of the neatest things that no other motorcycle had. And you see the shifter?
Yep.
You pushed it in, it became the Kickstarter.
Oh man, same lever.
Isn't that cool?
Brilliant.
Only one that ever had it.
Brilliant.
Remember, this is a wall of death bike. Look how big they had the rear sprocket on it.
So that's where you can ride it vertically and upside down.
Yeah.
Wow.
But now those are those are unique, and that's the CT90s. You'd see them on, everybody had them on the back of their motorhome or, you know, and stuff. And they made them in, the earliest ones were yellow, then they went to red, then they went to orange. And that's the whole series there, see.
Man. Have you ever counted how many motorcycles you have?
There's over 5,000, but I don't know how many.
This is amazing.
Isn't that
Trail
cool?
hopper. What a
Isn't that beautiful? Now it's, I mean, and it's perfectly original.
Man.
Nothing's ever, you know.
Wow. It wouldn't take much to start that.
Oh, it'll run.
Isn't
that cool?
Oh yeah. What a beautiful paint job, decals. Man. I feel like I need to get back there. It's got 0 miles. So this, over on the other side of the garage, we saw a rotary powered motorcycle made by Hercules. Here's a rotary powered motorcycle made by Suzuki. And this is, as Steve said, this is the speedometer, odometer. It's kind of spaceshipy, and he
Look
has,
how the tail light and the signal lights are all like that spaceship type.
oh yeah, so it's a disc like that, like this. It's a brand new motorcycle. There's like nothing on it, no miles.
I just got a few, but nothing, you know.
Yeah.
You roll them around, you get stuff on them, you know.
So have you ever ridden it?
I've cranked it.
What does it sound like? Does it sound like a Mazda?
It will not stop revving. It just whang. I mean, it just
And it's carbureted, it's not fuel injected.
carbureted.
What year do you figure it is?
That was 74 or
Okay.
75.
Man. Cool. So if you remember the song Alice's Restaurant, Arlo Guthrie sang for 45 minutes about Alice's Restaurant, and he said, but we're not here to talk about Alice's Restaurant, we're here to talk about the war. Well, in a crazy way, all the time we've spent here looking at Steve's motorcycles, we're not here to talk about Steve's motorcycles, we're here to talk about a horde of motorcycles that he discovered just a few miles from here that he never knew about. And it started with a phone message that was left to him.
Hey, Steve, this is Sherry Ferguson. I was calling you. I'm up here on a job, and the guy has some antique motorcycles, and I'm not a motorcycle expert like you, and I was going to see if you could move them. We're up here on Waynesville Mountain, Vincent Black Shadow Motorcycles. Give me a call back.
I call her back and I said, all right, which one of my buddies put you up to this? Because I know I'm the only one around here with a Vincent Black Shadow. And she says just such unique stuff that he had hidden away that's been there for years, and I had no clue, and neither did anyone
How
else.
far is that from here? In a straight line?
10 miles. This is my friend Robin. He's put the collection together for many years, and I'll let him tell you all about it.
So Robin, you're from the UK? Are you from the UK?
Yeah, originally, 50 years ago.
50 years ago, okay. Yeah. But obviously you're a British motorcycle fanatic,
Yes.
I guess. So you moved them down here. Let's take a look what you have. And how long ago did you start collecting these bikes?
I bought the Red Vincent in '64.
Cool, well let's see them.
Okay, this is my pride and joy. As I said, it had a red tank when I got it, but it's now completely red. It's got the twin brakes, front and rear, oversized carburetors, the sprockets.
And so this is a red Black Shadow.
This is a red Rapide.
Red Rapide, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But it's all to Shadow specs.
Yep, okay. And you bought this in 1964?
64.
No kidding. Do you remember what you paid for it? How much you paid for it?
Yeah, $2,800. But I was 64.
Uh-huh. Yep. Beautiful. And how many miles are on it now? 71,000. Are these as fast as people say they are? I know they have a reputation. They're extremely fast.
Well, it's got 150 mile an hour speedometer, but there's supposedly 26 were built and shipped to North America and painted red.
Painted red here or painted red in the UK?
In the UK with the paint that they got from the post office. Things were different then.
Yep. That's the first bike you have. What are the other bikes you have here? Are these...
Okay, well, there's another Black Rapide back here, right here.
Uh-huh.
But this one also has been converted to a Shadow with the same, the sprockets and different carburetors and the 150 mile an hour clock.
Yep. Now, how long have you had this one?
About 50 years.
Both of them then, wow.
Both of them, yeah.
Man, where'd you buy that one?
In Sarasota, Florida. I think it was $300.
$300?
Yeah.
So you've restored that bike?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Do you do the work yourself?
Yeah.
So back here I see a BSA.
Yeah, that's a Goldstar 500cc race bike.
And how long have you had that one?
About 40 years. This Velocette has an interesting story. Its engine number 59 is the second to last Velocette Venom that was ever left the factory.
Second to last. Now what year is that?
That's a 71.
So what do we have under the cover here?
Okay, this is a very interesting bike. This is one you've never seen before. BSA had made something called a road rocket, 650 twin. And somebody at BSA had a bright idea to put a road rocket engine into a Goldstar frame. So there's not many of these around.
And that came from the factory like that?
I came from the factory.
What a beautiful bike, boy. So that's got the polished tank. Yeah, that does too.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. And what year is that?
That is a 61.
Yeah, beautiful. And then we have a Norton here.
Yeah, this is a 600cc 1951 Dominator. They all had exotic names back then. Now there's a total of 8. I'm not sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5, 6, 7, 8. So there's one that's hidden here.
Oh, that's when Triumph brought out the Bonneville, and that was in 1959. They made it this color for 5 months.
No kidding.
They called it tangerine and dark egg blue.
Oh, is that beautiful? I've never seen one like that. When you were able to ride, which was your favorite on a Saturday morning to get on and go? On a Saturday morning, the sun's out, the weather's perfect. Which one would you get on?
The Velocette. Because there were Triumphs and Nortons and BSAs all over the place, but not that many Velocettes.
Yeah. Are all these particularly hard to start, to kick them?
They are now. They didn't used to be.
I understand. Well, the only one I haven't really looked at is the Velocette over there, so I'll go over and take a look at that.
It's called a Thruxton.
Thruxton, okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I've been to the Thruxton race circuit.
That's what it was named after.
Yeah. Wow, this seems very delicate, very small, like a sports car.
But this one is a little different because, as I said, it was the last one made, or next to, and they put all the extra spare parts that were left over at the factory, they put them all onto this.
Well, Robin, thank you so much for allowing us to come into your house.
Thank you for taking the time to visit us.
Beautiful, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Happy hunting.
This is the 500, that's the 175, that's the 250. I've got the 80, the 100, and the 125, and I'm gonna put them side by side like they were in the dealership.